Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Tonight, the Springs fire is still holding at 50 acres burned, and all evacuations have been lifted. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. CAL FIRE says it now knows what caused this fire in East County. KPBS reporter Alexander Nguyen has the details.
Crews were out today working to subdue the fire, both on the ground and in the air. When the fire started last evening, shortly after 6 p.m., it was 3 separate fires near each other.
The smallest of the fires, the 4 rate of spread, has been stopped. The remaining 2 fires burnt together and became 1 fire.
The fire blackened 50 acres and forced the evacuation of homes in this rural East County area. By early this afternoon, CAL FIRE Captain Robert Johnson says investigators have identified the cause.
That the cause of the fire was vehicle caused.
He says a catalytic converter failed and ignited all 3 fires.
The components can come out at temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees, which 1,000 degrees is a competent ignition source.
It's so dry here that residents say they're always on edge because it doesn't take much to start a fire.
It's always a problem here. Every year there's fires up here, and so we're always trying to be prepared, and it's the best we can do. You know, it makes you panic anyway.
Terry Gray has lived in this area for 20 years. Being in a fire-prone area, she's always prepared to evacuate if need be.
I can just grab paperwork, my purse, and run.
CAL FIRE says there have been 600 more fires statewide so far this year compared to the same time last year. Johnson says almost all of them were human-caused.
And 100% of those are preventable. We want people to be vigilant, be aware of your surroundings.
That includes not doing yard work on hot days like the ones we've had this week. Sparks from a lawnmower blade striking a rock could quickly ignite a fire. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
As we go through tonight, another quiet California night for us. 64 for the low in the city. More of the marine layer coming in as we'd often expected, especially for the coastal and inland communities. How do we change as we go through the upcoming days? There's not going to be much change for us. We've had a pretty quiet summer so far, but there will be some subtle changes I'll break down in the forecast ahead.
Trash collection has stalled in Chula Vista as workers show support for a nationwide strike. KPBS reporter Katie Anastas is in the newsroom with an update on the city's response. Katie.
Maya, Republic Services employees in Boston have been on strike since July 1st as they negotiate a new contract. Trash bins are filling up in Chula Vista as workers there walk off the job in solidarity. Mayor John McCann says this unfairly affects Chula Vista residents.
We have great drivers in the city of Chula Vista. Republic Services has a good contract with them. This is a sympathy strike. And again, it is there to support the strike in Boston, Massachusetts, all the way on the eastern coast. And I think it's incredibly unfair to have the city of Chula Vista be the only city in San Diego County targeted for that strike and that work stoppage.
McCann and Republic Services are telling Chula Vista residents to put their trash out. McCann says workers will be picking it up over the coming days. McCann has also called a special city council meeting on Monday. He says declaring a state of emergency would allow the city to use its own employees to pick up trash. Teamsters Local 542, which represents the Chula Vista workers, has not responded to a request for comment. A national spokesman said in a statement, quote, "To the millions of Americans seeing their trash pile up because of Republic's strike, remember one thing. This corporation has hauled in $77 billion. Republic can easily afford a fair and competitive contract that meets the needs of everyday hardworking Americans." Republic Services also serves Carlsbad, but a spokesperson for the company says that city is not affected. In the newsroom, Katie Anastas, KPBS News.
Thanks, Katie. Now, immigrants without legal status could be losing access to several federally funded health and education programs. The Department of Health and Human Services announced plans for more restrictions this week. KPBS reporter Tanya Thorne looks into the possible impacts to local services.
The announcement from the Department of Health and Human Services lists several programs that will only be available to American citizens. The action changes an act passed during the Clinton administration that extended federal public benefits to people without legal status. Among the impacted programs is Head Start, a school readiness program for young children from low-income families.
Our marquee program is Head Start and Early Head Start, where we serve 5,000 children in San Diego each and every year.
Damon Carson is the executive vice president at the Neighborhood House Association, a multi-service provider in San Diego.
Head Start has been in existence well over 60 years. In our 60-year history, we have never had to collect or determine immigration or citizenship status for our clients, for our students.
Carson says this goes against the fundamental purpose of Head Start, to prepare children for success in school.
Children and families that have been living below the federal poverty guideline really need this type of assistance to help them succeed and not depend on public benefits or public assistance later in life.
While the HHS announcement says the revised policy goes into effect immediately, Carson says service providers are left with little guidance on implementation.
It's literally a confusing, situation. Not only for us as providers, but it's very confusing for parents. Parents that are receiving services today as we speak.
In the announcement, HHS said they will issue further guidance to the impacted programs and opened a 30-day comment period. During that time, Carson says providers are thinking about a plan of advocacy, as well as exploring other funding sources to protect those impacted. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
San Diego has had some high-profile ICE raids in the past few months. In at least one case, local police have also been on the scene. KPBS Public Matters reporter Jake Gata went to find out what police are doing in those situations.
All we're here for is scene security. We have not made any immigration arrests. California law does not allow us to do that.
That was the scene in Linda Vista this month, where San Diego police officers were present during an immigration raid. This was after another raid in May at a popular South Park restaurant also elicited a police response. The officer is correct, though. California law does not allow local law enforcement to assist with immigration operations. But
we are allowed to help. Now, when it comes to situations like this, with ICE, it is to maintain public safety, not to assist with their immigration enforcement.
That was Lieutenant Travis Easter. He says in both cases, officers were there to maintain the peace.
And I know to say maintaining the peace sounds contradictory to what happened there, but really it's being that line in between to maintain public safety.
But Aaron Suramoto Grassi from Alliance SD says the community doesn't see it that way.
So the perception to the community is that folks are kidnapping community members, and then we're witnessing our San Diego Police Department basically be complicit because they're doing nothing. It looks like they are providing security to kidnappers.
So are police following the law? Councilmember Sean L. Rivera told me in this case, yes, but he agrees police being there can send the wrong message.
There's adherence to state law, and then there's what the practical implications of showing up mean for San Diego Police Department and its relationship with the community. This is why I asked the chief to put some real parameters around under what circumstances SDPD will show up.
Take off your mask, show your faces!
He also wants police to get identification from federal authorities when they're making an arrest. And he wants the department to help friends and family members locate people who have been detained.
We definitely, I think, have a responsibility as a city to ensure that it's not just random people who are detaining San Diegans on visitors to the city under the guise of a federal enforcement action.
He plans to introduce an ordinance that will do several things, like establishing clear rules for when federal or out-of-state law enforcement can enter a non-public space, ensuring the city will not request or share sensitive information without a warrant or court order, and doing what the city can to inform people of their rights and how to assert those rights.
We have rights, our residents have rights, our visitors have rights. We need to do everything that we can to give people firm ground to assert those rights. And we certainly cannot be complicit in allowing for abuses of power, for violation of rights, and quite frankly, for fascism to be, openly invited into this city.
Jay Gata, KPBS News.
One way to follow our immigration coverage is by subscribing to KPBS on YouTube. That's where you'll find all of our content, along with full episodes of KPBS radio shows and podcasts. A San Diego Navy commander who helped evacuate thousands of Vietnamese refugees on the USS Midway has died. In 1975, Vernon Jumper was the air boss on the Midway during the fall of Saigon. He helped coordinate the massive helicopter evacuation as dozens of helicopters circled the carrier during the evacuation. In 2015, he told KPBS it was the refugees they helped that mattered in his story.
And I send the praises, all the praises to the Vietnamese because they settled in our country and really became great citizens, hardworking people. They're successful, and I'm so proud of them.
More recently, Jumper served as docent on the USS Midway Museum, and he died at his home in La Mesa on July 4th. Vernon Jumper was 93. This year marked 50 years since the end of the Vietnam War. KPBS reporter Alexander Wen produced a 4-part video series called Fall of Saigon at 50, Stories of Loss, Legacy, and Identity. You can watch it online at kpbs.org. President Trump's federal spending bill was signed into law 1 week ago. There are some changes home buyers should know about. For instance, the bill restored a deduction for mortgage insurance. And that's usually used by home buyers who put down a smaller down payment than what lenders require. Not only that, the bill also increases state and local tax deductions. That can add up quickly, especially in California, where home prices and taxes can be a major barrier for first-time home buyers.
But federally, you can now write off up to $40,000 of your state and local taxes that you've paid to your state and also not pay federal on those. Because historically, you could only write off $10,000 in the state of California toward your state and local taxes.
The SALT deduction cap will revert back to $10,000 in 2030. Hundreds of households near the San Diego International Airport could soon be quieter. The Federal Aviation Administration has awarded the San Diego County Regional Airport Authority $15 million to retrofit 250 homes in eligible areas. Mitigation measures can include weather stripping and caulking around doors and windows. Air conditioning systems and ventilation systems can also help. The goal is to reduce noise levels inside homes by at least 5 decibels. An airport spokesperson says the Quieter Home program has retrofitted nearly 6,000 homes since 2001. More information is online at san.org. While San Diego native Taylor Fritz lost his semifinals match at Wimbledon today, his impact is being felt on a San Diego tennis court. KPBS reporter Jacob Ayer says Fritz's childhood coach and a younger player following in his footsteps.
At a tennis court in Rancho Penasquitos, former professional tennis player turned coach Woody Blocker rallies with one of his young students, 12-year-old Alicia Martinez.
At 9 years old, my dad really was into tennis, so I decided I wanted to just do full-on tennis, and I've been playing for 3 years now.
Martinez is a rising star, already a top 25 ranked junior girls player in California. Training top tennis talent in San Diego is nothing new for Blocker.
San Diego has a lot of great players nowadays, and Southern Cal. Move up, down the line.
For decades, he's helped train many young tennis players in the region, who went on to great professional success, including the current number 5 ranked player in the world, Taylor Fritz.
I think I started coaching Taylor maybe when he was around maybe 10 or 11, and then all through his junior career, I helped along with his parents and his uncle.
While American women's tennis players have consistently won major championships, it's been roughly 2 decades since the men have won a Grand Slam singles championship. While it didn't happen at this year's Wimbledon, Fritz represents a new generation of men's tennis in the U.S.
I follow professional tennis. I watch a lot of the men's side, and I saw that Taylor Fritz won Indian Wells and he beat Rafael Nadal, which I think is like a really huge thing.
Fritz's ascent into stardom is personal to Blocker, who keeps up with him and sees him like a son.
I'm very proud of him, and the guy's got as big a heart as anyone on the tour. You know, his ability to compete is off the charts. I'd put it up there with anybody.
While Coco Gauff and Novak Djokovic are inspirations to Rodriguez, she's also motivated by Fritz. She sees many young tennis players in the region look up to him.
I want to be like Fritz. Like, he started with Woody, and I feel like I'm already starting with Woody, so I'm like kind of following his footsteps.
Martinez says she also hopes to one day play at Wimbledon.
Nice.
Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Getting back to nature with a sprinkle of history. On our next KPBS Explores Hidden San Diego, we check out Felicita Park in southwest Escondido. A beautiful, easy hike along a creek that is also the location of rich Native American history.
This is Felicita Park, and when I think of Escondido and what it translates to, which is hidden, this to me really encompasses that, because Escondido is very city-like, and yet there's this dense, gorgeous forest which is hidden inside of it. It is or was one of the oldest indigenous villages in all of San Diego County to the northern Kumeyaay tribe. They would always have them near water. Right below is a creek, which we'll be walking to. Hi, my name's Jessica. Yeah, I run the brand Hidden San Diego. People ask me, like, well, what is Hidden San Diego? I like to uncover all the unique, unusual places in San Diego County. The park was named after a Kumeyaay woman, Felicita La Chapa, who lived in the San Pasqual Valley until she died in 1916. Her Kumeyaay name was Halawi, and she was the daughter of a clan leader named Ponto.
So the Kumeyaay word means those who face the water from a cliff. There's something really interesting that we're going to find right here. Tell us about this, because I believe oftentimes people would walk right by this and not have any idea what they're looking at.
So they actually have a sign right here that says you're in a Kumeyaay kitchen, which is really fun to see. And it says women grind seeds, grains, and acorns here. Small animals and reptiles could be ground up here as well. They were used generationally, so a lot of them will be very deep. Could be the daughter, grandmother, great-great-grandmother that all use these exact same holes to make meals.
So that they would just kind of gather around this place and just grind things up in these holes.
Yeah.
That are still here today.
Yeah. It's a very happy forest.
I guess this is a good way to go, this way.
People that are into meditating or wanting to get into meditating, I feel this would be such a great place to just sit and just listen to the sounds.
Wow.
Tell me this isn't incredible.
I can't deny it.
And then when you also think of the history of this, how this is an old indigenous village,
yes,
it just becomes extra special, and you can just feel the love here.
I think the word magical is thrown around a lot, but I think that it's definitely applicable here.
Yeah. Look at the plants growing off of the dam. It's so alive.
It is so alive. It's its own little ecosystem right here. History, nature, activity,
water. I think a lot of people want to be near water. Here you go. A lot of people, I hear this all the time, they come here, they picnic with their families, and they have no clue that there are magnificent hiking trails inside of here because they just don't explore. They don't take these little trails. Yeah, in other countries, like, doctors will prescribe nature. You need to go out in nature.
Oh, look at this.
All I hear are nature sounds. I hear the water running, I hear the birds chirping. It's just pure nature sounds.
And you can see the pollen in the air floating, leaves falling.
It's alive. It's very lively out here.
That's a good way to put it.
I think this is some of the best therapy you can get is just reconnecting where we come from, which is nature. We are nature, you know?
I'm really glad you brought me here.
Yay!
Yeah. A great place to tune out the world and tune into yourself.
So it looks like the San Diego Department of Parks and Recreation purchased this land in 1930 that is now known as Felicita Park. So it's been a park for almost 100 years. Can you even imagine the people that were coming here and visiting, you know, like 80 years ago? And probably seeing it very, very similar to how we see it today. I think it's really important that we all keep our inner child firmly grounded within us, because I think that's one of the secrets to happiness. So places like this make it easy because there's just so much wonder.
The limbs of this tree just go on and on. You can't really tell where it even ends.
Seriously, because it'll seem like, oh, it ends right there. Oh, nope, it doesn't.
No,
it keeps going. It's just beckoning you to climb it.
It is. It is a child's dream to climb a tree like this. You can spend all day on this tree.
Yeah. When you die, you go back into nature, and I think we are a part of this. And so by going to this, it's such a deep familiarity within us that it'll ground you and it'll kind of reset you.
So peaceful. And you can find more of Jessica's Hidden San Diego and California sites on her webpage, hiddensandiego.com.
Hopefully you've been able to get out and enjoy summer, because it has put on some very lovely weather so far, at least what we expect this time of year, right? There is a subtle cooling trend, though, that we're going to find as we head into next week. And by that, I mean a few spots will notice a change in a couple of numbers, but it's not a lot. Ultimately, though, we do have that marine layer coming in each night and making a difference for our mornings before more afternoon sunshine comes out. It's going to be a quiet pattern, though, through much of the upcoming week. Tonight in the city, we go to 64 for the low. Again, marine layer found for our coastal inland communities. As you work your way towards the mountains, we'll fall back to the mid-60s for Mount Laguna. Borrego Springs bottoming out at 71 degrees. Heading into tomorrow, high pressure still in control here for the western U.S., which means we are hot, dry, and all that thunderstorm activity staying well to the east through New Mexico, Colorado, even portions of Texas. Some spots need the rain, others not so much. As we look across our area, though, we're dry, we're bright, 74 for the afternoon in San Diego. As we head to Oceanside, 76, and Chula Vista coming in at 73. Of course, this is all after those morning clouds give way to more afternoon sunshine. Ramona, you'll hit 91 for the afternoon. Coastal communities back into the mid-70s for the days to come. Not much change in the numbers here as we keep that marine layer every night working its way on in and then fading its way on out as we go through the afternoon. Similar pattern here for our inland communities. Notice, though, how the numbers do drop to the lower 80s beginning on Sunday and continue that trend right into the middle of next week. Mountain communities, mid-70s is where we'll hold once we get to Sunday and beyond. A little bit warmer as we go through tomorrow. And for our desert communities, we're going to get close to that 110 range again tomorrow, but then we should manage to ease off. And I think Wednesday, that's when we see that notable difference of those temperatures a little bit lower, a little bit more comfortable for us. But even this isn't too hot for this time of year. For KPBS News, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Melissa Constanzer.
A new Superman flies into theaters today. KPBS cinema junkie Beth Accomando has this review.
James Gunn's Superman thankfully avoids serving up another unnecessary origin story, and instead crash lands us with Superman 3 minutes after he loses his first battle. And then promptly introduces us to Crypto, the super dog. And from that moment on, I was basically putty in his hands.
Take me home.
Superman rebounds quickly so he can return to saving the planet amidst complicated global politics and to fighting Lex Luthor. Meanwhile, at the Daily Planet, Lois and Clark feign some professional rivalry.
It's all there in my article.
I don't actually have to make it through your writing. But at home, they experience some very real differences as Lois tries to make Clark see the world through her more realistic or perhaps just cynical lens.
Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
Gun Superman is political, by his own admission. You can easily read Gaza or Ukraine in the war, ICE and how the intergalactic immigrant is treated, and Trump and Musk in Lex Luthor's supervillain. But the politics stem from the Superman character created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, Jewish men from immigrant families who had fled persecution in Eastern Europe. Gunn sums up Superman like this.
Some people think of Superman as old-fashioned. Some people think he's too earnest. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we need right now. That's what I think we're all dying for. A little too earnest. I think we're dying for someone who's too kind. I think we're dying for those old-fashioned things that we loved of just looking out for people in need.
So the politics of Gunn's film rise organically from Superman's story of being an alien, a refugee from a dying planet, arriving on Earth, and from the values the Kents instilled in him.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
At its core, Gunn's Superman is about reconnecting with our humanity and acknowledging that the choices we make define who we are. This Superman makes mistakes, but he's motivated by a sincere desire to do good, to help, and to protect. It's refreshing to see him back in this more idealistic light. And while David Cornsweet doesn't surpass the iconic superhero created by Christopher Reeve in 1978, he comes close. He captures the sincerity and humanity of the character in winning fashion. And although Crypto is all CGI, he's also 100% adorable and provides the film with goofy charm. Gunn's Superman is a welcome treat and provides hope, both in terms of its themes and as a film that revitalizes the sagging superhero genre.
Eyes up here.
Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Thank you for watching us. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.